I can tell you that they have no clue about aviation safety. The secondary runway, a parallel runway. I had even warned at that time that
They removed us from the committee.
overshoot on that runway is going to cause the biggest disaster in Chennai. You're going to see the destruction of Chennai where Parandur comes.
Hello, Federal viewers. Welcome to this exclusive interview. The Union Civil Aviation Ministry is all set to grant the in-principle approval for Parandur Airport, Chennai's second airport that's a greenfield airport. Meanwhile, protest in Parandur against this project is almost more than 950 days of protest is going on. Joining us for an exclusive discussion is Captain Mohan Ranganathan. So thank you so much for your time. So firstly, my first question to you is 60% of the proposed land in the Parandur Airport project is water bodies. The committee formed with retired IAS Machendranathan, they've been telling that they will investigate how to find an alternative to shift the trajectory of these water bodies. So what is your take on this? How is this committee progressing?
If you're going to have 60% of the water bodies in clay soil, you want to put whatever cost they give you, I can guarantee that it is going to multiply 100-fold.
Right.
And the taxpayers will end up losing the money. Why was the parallel runway in Chennai rejected? Was because of the clay soil.
Okay.
Clay expands and
Right.
contract depending on the center and the water content.
Right.
So your cost of construction multiplies several times. So whichever committee they form, whether it is some retired IAS officer or retired judge, I can tell you that they have no clue about aviation safety. There was a time when Tamil Nadu had very good administrators who would advise the government against wrong decisions.
The ministry does not like anyone pointing fingers. When they found that whatever we were pointing out is uncomfortable, they removed us from the committee.
Go back to 2005, November, when we had the first flooding in the airport.
Right.
Only the main runway was clear of water. They came up with this project of the secondary runway, a parallel runway. And during that time, I had written an article in the Hindu Business Line saying it is going to be a disaster. When they applied for the environmental clearance, the AC clearly mentions that it has got to be 1.5 meters above the flood level.
Correct.
So which means it should be 12.5 meters minimum. That is the bottom of the bridge, not the top of the bridge.
Right.
And they found that the soil is not suitable for a runway because of the conditions. They can't put the piles. So the parallel runway project was dropped. And AAI decided to extend the bridge and make this the secondary runway. And once the bridge was constructed, and I was part of the Civil Aviation Safety Advisory Council at that time,
Right.
I'd gone with a couple of residents from that area across the river and inspected the underside of the bridge.
Correct.
And I found severe corrosion marks, cracks, which were being patched up. So I had even warned at that time that if an aircraft lands, even an Airbus 330 lands with a 2G,
Mm-hmm.
the bridge will not stand the impact. And was the environment clearance had specified that those pillars have to be 1.02 meters, 1.2 meters diameter. What they had built was 0.86 meter. So they've cut costs everywhere, and you got corrosion cracks.
Right.
So I had written a letter officially saying that, and it is all, I marked a copy to Supreme Court for what it's worth. I said, if accident takes place, whoever clears the operation on that bridge
Yeah.
should be held accountable for culpable homicide. If an aircraft touches down short and overshoots,
Right.
I said, you got the metro line.
Correct.
The cable, electric cable has 25,000 volt current
Passing, yeah.
passing there. And then you got heavy traffic on GST road.
Correct.
And you got two petrol bunks. I said, one overshoot on that runway is going to cause the biggest disaster in Chennai. And Parandur is full of water bodies. Now you go and dump 4,000 acres of concrete,
Yeah.
4 meters of concrete. Where will the flood waters go? It'll have to flow toward. So if several parts of Chennai were damaged in 2015, you're going to see the destruction of Chennai where Parandur comes. That I'm telling you, you can quote me on this. They may claim that you're going to reach Parandur in 1 hour 50.
Correct. Yeah.
I can't reach Meenambakam airport in 1.5 hours from here. So what are they talking about infrastructure?
They're also claiming metro is going to come to,
Yeah, how many years?
So you mentioned about, lack of proper planning. What could be an alternative? You also mentioned how you can develop Chennai airport. In fact, it's only Chennai that's got an airport inside the city limits.
Chennai airport can be developed similar to Gatwick. And you have the infrastructure ready.
Right.
It just requires a discussion with the Defense Ministry.
Right.
And after all, it is the Ministry of Civil Aviation is union government. Now take Parandur. It's 10 kilometers from Arkonam Air Base. Coastal Defense, they need that Arkonam.
Right.
And so if you design a runway, you're going to have a runway which meets the criteria of the winds
Correct.
for landing and takeoff. And if it should not be in conflict with the main runway in Arkonam.
Right.
You got to have airspace for each airfield. Why do you think Sri Perambudur was rejected several years back?
Yeah.
It is because it was in conflict with Arkonam, Tambaram and Madras Air. If you take the OTA land, the Coast Guard land and give compensation, and you also have beyond near the Pallavaram side, more army land,
Yeah.
give them compensation and allot them land in some government area.
Correct.
You can build a parallel runway because you see the old runway which was there, we had all the A320s and 737s operating without a problem
Right.
for years. And if they say that, the St. Thomas Mount is there,
Yeah.
you can make it a unidirectional, land from the
Okay.
Pallavaram end and take off from the St. Thomas Mountain. We are doing that in Port Play, we are doing that in Bagdogra, we are doing that in Leh.
What will happen ahead? Because the in-principle approval is set to happen. The protest has been going on more than 950 days. What do you assume will happen further?
Clearance has to come from the Ministry
Right.
of Civil Aviation,
Right.
which has to get clearance from the Defense Ministry,
Correct.
because you have two defense air, Tambaram Air Force and Arkonam.
Yeah.
You're going to take forever. In our generation, we will not see Parandur unless they demolish the secondary runway bridge so that you clear the path and rebuild Chennai Airport. That is a much cheaper option and a quicker option than thinking of anything else.